Hey, welcome back to Living on Vashon. How are you? All right, today, super exciting stuff. This is the basics, the fundamentals. What do you need to know to make the move to Vashon? What's the basic fundamental facts about the island? Just that kind of general bottom line stuff that you need to know before you make a move to an island. All right, you ready? Let's go. All right, my name's Aaron Hendon. I am a realtor here on the island. I've lived here for about 10 years. I forget everything. It's like the Hotel California over here. You can check out anytime you want, but you can never leave. I don't remember how long I've been here. But it's around 10 years or so. And I love it, love it, love it, love it. And I've been selling houses for that whole length of time. I sell houses on the island and off the island. So if you're interested in either one, let me know. I'm with Christine and Company over at eXp Realty. Make sure you subscribe to this, like it, share it, all that good social media stuff. And if you're interested or you have questions about living on the island, anything like that, please feel free to message me. You can get my contact information here on the YouTube channel, or you can just comment and I will find you. All right. So with no more ado, here's what we got. Here's what you need to know before making Vashon your next home. So let's just start with some of the basic facts, okay? We are pretty much not centrally located in the Puget Sound, but we are this really centered between the Kitsap Peninsula and Seattle. But more importantly, we're the southernmost major island in the Puget Sound, and we are the only one of the Seattle Islands that's accessible only by boat. Okay, so Whidbey, Bainbridge, as you go north, those islands get. Let's see, it's Whidbey and Bainbridge are both considered Seattle kind of islands, lower Puget Sound islands, and you can drive on to both of those if you wanted to. You go further north, you get the San Juans, and that's not really Seattle Islands, and those you got to take a boat to too. But for Seattle, Vashon's the biggest boat only. There's a couple further south, but they're teeny. Don't really. We spit on those. Okay. So it's, and it's a good size island. Okay. We've got 10,000 people on the island. The size of the island is, I think, 38 square miles. Okay. 38 square miles. That is roughly the same size as Manhattan. Now, Manhattan's got more than 10,000 people in it last time I checked. So 10,000 people, same size as Manhattan, which is like 14 million. So it's pretty low density. All right. The normal lot size here is about 5 acres. Most properties are zoned for 5 acres, meaning you can only have one house on 5 acres. And, so it's pretty sparse. I'm always sort of amazed that when I go to one of the grocery stores, there's two. I don't run into more people I know, but I don't. I mean, there's some days where I run into 3 people I know, 4 people, and that's like, well, I'm exhausted. I don't want to meet that many people. But most of the time, it's all people I don't know. People maybe I've seen before and give them a nod. Right? I liked having a mask on when I didn't have to be expected to know who I was with. Because the truth is, nobody moves to an island if they love hanging out with other people. That's just the way it is. You got to have a little bit of get off my lawn, leave me alone to live on an island. You just do, especially one that's only accessible by boat. This is not an easy place to get to. So a couple other things about that 38 square miles. Okay. Most of it's trees. There's way more trees than people here. And an interesting thing, I think, is when people on Vashon, if you live here, you talk about Vashon Island and Maury Island. Maury Island is a smaller island next to Vashon we filled in the land bridge about 100 years ago. So there's, you drive on to Maury Island. When you're not on Vashon, when you don't live on Vashon, you're moving here from wherever you're moving to, and you talk to someone about Vashon, what you mean is both Vashon and Maury. Maury Island only exists for Vashonites. If you're not a Vashonite, if you don't live here, you don't even think about Maury Island. Maury Island's not really a thing for you. But in reality, Vashon is, when you look at us on a map, you'll see there's both Vashon and Maury. So if you choose to live on Maury Island, you're also living on Vashon. It's all the same from a male perspective, from a city perspective, like that. Um, the other thing to know is that we're unincorporated King County, so there's no mayor, there's no governing board, there's nothing. We really are the Wild West. Most years we have a goat or a dog or a fairy as our honorary mayor. Yeah, every year the local charities on the island nominate a mascot to be the mayor, and then people on the island donate money, and the charity that gets the most money, that mascot gets to be a mayor. I think we have a goat mayor right now. Um, Good times. Okay, seriously, this is the Wild West. Okay, um, super fun. Yeah, goat, dog. I know Lynn Ann was the fairy for a while. She was the mayor. She won mayor. Um, anyway, so that's fun. Uh, meanwhile, back at the commute zone, the ferries and how you get here. So Vashon's connected by ferries. If you look at us on a map, there's a ferry that goes from the southern point of Vashon to Tacoma. There's two boats off the north end. One goes to the Kitsap Peninsula. It's called Southworth, is the dock, is the port. And the other goes to Fauntleroy. That's the drive-on ferries. Okay, so those go there, and those are every hour or so. Every hour off the south end to Tacoma, and the ferry schedule's madness. So don't even talk to me about it. So every 20 minutes to hour and a half off the north end to either Southworth, the Kitsap Peninsula, or to West Seattle. Fauntleroy is West Seattle. There is a walk-on, a passenger ferry that goes every day to downtown Seattle. Sorry, every workday, Monday through Friday. There's 3 boats in the morning and 3 boats in the evening. It's really just commuters to downtown. When I first moved here, I had a job downtown, and moved here because the commute was so nice, because you get to the boat, and you can get to the boat either by walking, by driving or taking the bus. And there's a couple of park and rides. And you can totally take the bus right to the boat, get off, you walk on the ferry, you walk downtown, you're home. So if you work at Amazon or something, you can totally get away with that commute. And that 20 minutes on the boat is it's awesome. It's awesome. Maybe twice a year it's canceled because of rough waters, but mostly it's smooth sailing and super easy. And there's a whole community of people that plays cribbage on the boats. And it's a whole community. It's a whole little thing. Okay, so um, on the south end boat, for some reason, there's puzzles. Like puzzle pieces, and you can sit on that ferry and do the puzzles. The north end ferry has beer and food. Let's go in the summer. That it's super nice. But the point is, when you live here, you really do have to it's a requirement that you plan your life around the ferries. If you're planning on getting off the island. Now, the truth is, most people figure out how to make a living without having to leave the island every single day. If you were moving here and you needed to commute every single day, and you needed to get someplace distant from the ferry, you'd be adding 2 or 3 hours to your commute, depending on how far it is on the other side. You just, I'm talking about the Seattle side. The Tacoma side, maybe an hour each. You're adding between the time it takes you to get to the boat, wait for the boat, get on the boat, the ferry journey, and then get off the boat. Each ferry ride is roughly 15 to 20 minutes. You got to get to a boat 15 to 20 minutes early minimum. And it's got to take you 10 minutes to get off the boat. So that's 45 minutes minimum each way, minimum. So it's an hour and a half minimum each way. So, you got to factor that in. And most people figure out a way to telecommute, uh, even if they start out by living, by having to commute, you figure it out just because it's just crazy. Then you got to deal with the ferry unreliability, which is rampant since the pandemic. I mean, we've lost one of the 3 boats. We used to have 3 boats off the north end. We're down to 2. And once a week, a boat gets canceled. Just randomly, crew doesn't show up or something. And sometimes it's more, and sometimes the boats are just late. In the summer, between Memorial Day and Labor Day, I don't even leave the island on a Friday because you're not getting back onto the island on a Friday anytime between 3 and 7. You're talking a 2 hour wait in the ferry line from the north end. South end, maybe an hour. So it's a deal. It's a deal. The ferries are a deal. And, you got to look, I live here. I love it. I sell houses. I sell more houses off the island than I do on the island. So I deal with commuting. But I just bunch up my stuff. Feel like I'll be going off island on Wednesday uh, and Thursday this week. And, I'll hit my Costco. I was off the island on Saturday or Sunday this weekend for something. And, did a Costco and I had to take my daughter to the bus. I hit up Trader Joe's and Whole Foods, right? Because Costco was closed, and I'll do Costco later this week. Anyway, point is you work yourself out around the boats, but don't pretend that living here is convenient because it's not. All right. There are, so on the island, in terms of what you would need for transportation, there's a bus that runs down the center of the island on Vashon Highway from North Ferry Terminal to South Ferry Terminal and back. And maybe there might be 12 runs a day, something like that. It's not, some aspect of it is convenient, aspect of it's not. So the convenient pieces of it are you can stop anywhere on the highway and wave it down and it'll stop for you. So if you live on Vashon Highway, you can walk out your driveway, wait for the bus and wave it down. You got a bus schedule. You know when to leave your house. Just wave it. You don't have to get to a bus stop. And same is true on the way back. So on the way back, if you wanted to have the bus stop for you, drive that driveway up there on the left, walk up to talk to the driver will pull over and you get out right at your house. So it's super convenient if you live on the highway. And if you don't live on the highway, you can drive to one of the park and rides on the highway. There's 2 or 3 park and rides. 2, I can think of 2 off the top of my head, but that probably means there's 3. No, I think there's 2 park and rides, and you can drive there, leave your car, and just pick the bus up at the park and ride. But other than that, you're just not getting the bus. So it's not for everybody on the island. I mean, if you don't live near the highway or you're not, it's not a real mode of. It's not necessarily a real mode of transportation. I mean, I particularly picked a house on the highway because I wanted that mode of transportation for me and for my kids. But most people don't. Okay. But there you go. You can do that. The other thing, I mean, obviously you can bike, you can walk, but that's it. There's no Uber. Okay. There's no DoorDash. You need a car. Okay. When my wife and I first moved here, we got away with 1 car. Now, obviously it lasts for some length of time, but if, selling real estate, as a couple, you got to have 2 cars, but I wouldn't move here with no car. You can't get away with, it's not Manhattan. Okay. You're not getting away with no car. Okay. No delivery. There's no one's dropping you off a pizza. I mean, okay. It's not really true. The, Vashon Pizza delivers, but it could be a 2-hour wait. Okay. There's a Vashon Eats that delivers, but again, it could be 2 or 3 hours because, it could take 45 minutes to get from one end of the island to the next. And just consider there's no delivery. Okay. It's way easier. I do recommend that people rent over here for some length of time to get used to the ferries and get used to that lifestyle. If that seems like it's a question for you, you want to rent, maybe even if you Airbnb'd for 90 days, be better to get a sense of that. And longer, if you're moving from someplace sunny and the Pacific Northwest is new to you, I would for sure live here for a year because, it is gray from October through May. October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. Yeah, 8 months. Easy 8 months of the year. You like that? A 61-year-old man has to count months on his fingers because smart man. But yeah, it's Pacific Northwest is a thing, So if you're moving here from someplace else, you might want to check it out for a while. And then I would definitely think about renting. Now, renting on the island, you go to Vashon Housing and ask for rentals, but it's super hard to rent on the island. So it's also not an easy out for you. That's why I'm telling you everything about the ferries and everything I can. You got to get used to it. Now, one of the things my wife and I had a concern about when we first decided to move here was, well, we won't see our friends as much. We had lived in Seattle for 10 years and then we moved here. And off of Seattle, we moved from Seattle to Vashon, and we thought we're not going to see our Seattle friends very much anymore. And what we settled on and how we figured it out for ourselves was, well, our friends don't just pop by randomly anyway. In reality, they call, we make dates, and they can call and make dates and come on over, and they do. And or we go there. So we have, basically we host Thanksgiving here for all our friends, and Passover, things like that. We host big occasions. We have a Labor Day party. Labor Day? Yeah, Labor Day party. You should come over. Come to my Labor Day party, burning chair. It's killer. But the point is, you live in a vacation destination. So people don't come over as often, but they come over and they stay longer, and then we go over there for dinner. So it's not a big loss. And then you make new friends in addition to the old friends. So you got to sort of sort it out for yourself and figure out how much more it's going to cost you. We spend about $500-600 a month in ferries, just because between the kids getting over and us getting over, that's how it goes. Okay. So you got to figure all that in, and I'm happy to talk to you about that, but that's sort of the lay of the land. Then, while Vashon started as an agricultural community, started as farmland, it's got still about 25 small individual farms, but it's run over with artists. Okay. I always tell people that Vashon is a combination of rednecks and hippies. And I think the artists fall into the hippies camp. And the rednecks fall into the farmer camp. But there's also hippie farmers and there's redneck artists, whatever. I don't mean to be derisive with either of those terms. It's just a generalization. Where, something like Bainbridge is all the yuppies. We got all the artists and the hippies and the rednecks. Totally my jam. I ride that line between hippie and redneck. I love that line. That is my favorite line. But we've talked about, if you watch the troll video, the number of artists and the different strength of the community here. It's fabulous. There's performance spaces and craft classes and glass blowing and things for the kids. And it's just fabulous. There's a multitude of farm stands on the island. There's a killer farmers market every Saturday where there's live music and there's food and it's great local foods. There's a few local wineries. There's a couple of ciders. There's breweries. I don't like that word, breweries. I still don't like it. All right. There's a couple of breweries on the island, and and then there's some world-class restaurants, just I mean, I'm not even messing with you. Okay. The Ruby Brink is fabulous. You can watch my video on that. There's May's Cafe, the best Thai food I've ever had in my life. It is great. Gravy does a great job. The hardware store is sort of a stalwart of the community. There's great burgers at Island Queen, great tacos at Zamorana's or Casa Bonita or Isla Vida, Isla Bonita. I forget what it is, but they do tacos on Saturdays. It's really good. Really good, really good food on the island. Okay. And then the community does some really fun stuff, right? A lot of events. There's a strawberry festival every summer, super fun, great concerts, great live music. There's a stupid bike night, which happens in the weekend of Friday night of Labor Day, which is exactly what it sounds like. Stupid bike night. People make stupid bikes and they go parade them up the street. It's pretty cool, fun, great time. And then, there's a lot of farms that host events, getting married, stuff like that, catered, all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of people that are available. If you wanted to plan your wedding over here, let me know. I'll hook you up with some great guides. There's a ton of Airbnb stuff like that. In terms of the kids and kids and older people, let's talk about that. Okay. There's limited schooling options. There's no colleges on the island. There's one middle school, there's a elementary, middle, and high school, all excellent. Go to great schools. Check that out. Great schools. In fact, people send their kids over from West Seattle. A couple of busloads of kids come over every day from West Seattle. So both my kids went there, and my daughter went to a private school here on the island, which I'm 61 and I'm blanking on the name. This is just terrible. It'll come to me anyway. Um, we loved it. We loved to have it. We came here because we like the school options, so we're good with that. And then you need to know that there's no major medical services here on the island. So there's no hospitals, there's no 24-hour clinic. If something happens, you're going to get paramedics. Everyone here carries a rider for a helicopter transport. If God forbid there's an emergency, you can get a rider for your insurance policy that covers heli transport for like $95 a year or something. But there's no major medical on the island. All your major medical needs are going to have to take place off island. No hospitals, anything like that. No overnight care, nothing like that on this island. There's a bunch of dentists and stuff like that, but no orthodontists or maybe no. I don't know. I don't think there's an orthodontist on the island. Anyway, major medical, you got to consider leaving the island. All right. And then, there's downtown Vashon. So downtown Vashon is super cute and getting cuter, I think. Lots of different little stores, restaurants. All those restaurants I named are literally downtown. So there's one block. Downtown is, okay, 2 blocks of downtown. We have our own one-screen movie theater that now actually has a second screen, but it's outdoors. Fun. The outdoor stuff is great. Live music or movies outside. Super great. There's 2 grocery stores. There's a country store. You can get everything you needed on the island, but mostly, everything is priced because it has to take a boat to get here. So a Costco run once a month is day regular. There's, like that. I don't come back from off island without hitting a Trader Joe's or Whole Foods most days. And that's really what this is. So it's a really, slow, leisurely pace, slow, leisurely life, unique opportunity to live in some place that really is sort of a throwback and both completely rural and 20 minutes from downtown Seattle. It's just, I love it here. Love it. So glad to raise my kids here. So glad to live here. If you have questions about living on the island, let me know. Hit me up. I think that's the basics of what you need to know about living here. But if I missed something, you got questions about something I said, let me know. And I'm happy to talk to you about it anytime. Aaron Hendon with Christine Company at eXp Realty. I'll see you next time. Peace out.